All right, well, Deputy President David Mabuza will be at the BioVac Institute this afternoon, which is a public-private partnership between government and BioVac to ensure that the country has enough domestic capacity to produce local vaccines. Let's get more information on this. Samkele Maseko for us there. We do understand, of course, that the Deputy President will be on some sort of a walkabout. Talk us through what exactly his itinerary is and what he plans to do this afternoon at BioVac.
Well, Flo, the Deputy President has arrived here at the BioVac facility, storage facility, where the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine is being stored here in Midrand. I'm going to step out of shot a bit. In those doors that are opened, there is the BioVac entry point where the Deputy President entered to receive a briefing from the CEO of this particular facility of BioVac, which is a partnership between the private sector and government. There are three storage compartments within this specific area, as I'm going to ask my colleague Kwazi just to show you those visuals there, where the vaccines, once they arrive, they enter through that particular door, which is the receiving cold room of all vaccines. That's where the Deputy President will be taken through. We've been taken through earlier on. There are various three compartments that are there for the storage of the various vaccines that come to this vaccination storage facility here at BioVac. We do know that with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it is being stored in a fridge, a refrigerator that is between these degrees, -2 degrees Celsius to -20 degrees Celsius, which is the requirements for the storage of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So that's what the Deputy President is currently being briefed at. We do know that all Johnson & Johnson vaccines, once they arrived in the country, they were brought to this specific storage facility. We do know that samples of them were then taken to the laboratory in the University of Bloemfontein for testing purposes to make sure that it is of the highest quality and standard that these particular vaccines have to come in. They are saying that once these vaccines were brought here, they were then distributed. There is a one-day turnaround strategy, in the words of the CEO of BioVac, who's also the one who's briefing the Deputy President, alongside the Deputy Minister in the Presidency, the acting Minister in the Presidency, Kumbuzo Ntabeleng, and also the Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training, Buti Manamela. But we do know that he will be taken throughout the storage facility here. Earlier on, when we were taken in, the specific fridge where the Johnson & Johnson vaccines are being stored, which is -2 degrees Celsius to -20 degrees Celsius, that specific fridge was not open to us. But other samples of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that were sent out to Bloemfontein for testing have been brought back. Those ones have to be stored at the specific facility for a period of 5 years. Should there be anything wrong with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, then they are able to take out those samples and then go and test them once again to check what are those differences that may be there of this specific vaccine. But they are saying that at this point in time, there have been no deviations when it comes to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. It's been a success, and the quality of the product that has been brought to the country has been of the highest quality that has also been tested. Back to you, Flo.
Just a quick one before I let you go, Samkele. I mean, really, what is the reason really for this walkabout and inviting the media to come to what essentially is, a fridge, where they're keeping these vaccines? I don't remember us doing that when the AstraZeneca vaccine arrived. What is the main reason today for all of this? I mean, I see a number of media houses behind you there as you're reporting, and I'm just wondering what was the need to invite all these media houses to this particular facility? I mean, we did see the vaccines arriving by plane, as we did with the AstraZeneca, and then that we obviously thought, well, that's it. And now, we're being invited to come to this particular place. What is the reason for all of this?
The reason essentially, Flo, government, they seemingly have or think that they have their ducks in a row. They would want to charade and showcase what they are currently doing. They probably want to try and bring the nation into their confidence in the form that they will show the storage facility of these particular vaccines that have been brought into the country. They are also anticipate that the chairperson of the Interministerial Committee that is looking into procuring these vaccines for the country and distributing them, which is chaired by the Deputy President. He may want to have a bite or two at addressing the nation when it comes to the issues of the rollout of this specific vaccine, particularly after the Commander-in-Chief, the President Cyril Ramaphosa, addressed the nation and said that the first phase of the rollout of the vaccines to frontline troopers, which are the medical practitioners, has been a success in that over 70,000 health practitioners had been vaccinated through that specific rollout of the first batch of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that came into the country. So that's essentially the purpose of the Deputy President coming out and surely inspecting the storage of these vaccines as he chairs this Interministerial Committee. Should anything go wrong, he would be the person to go to on these particular vaccines if these vaccines were to be stolen, if these vaccines quality were to have deviations and that they are not of the highest quality that they are meant to be. For instance, when we were being addressed earlier on by the various personnel that are in charge of this specific facility, they are saying that with the scheduled load shedding that takes place in the country, once the temperature of the fridges or temperatures of the products that is brought here is tampered with, it then tampers with the quality of the product, and then there are deviations in play, and then that specific product has to be sent to the laboratory in the Free State to be retested to check if there have been any deviations, if the quality of the product is still standard, or then that if the product is no longer of the highest quality, then they have to do away with that specific product and no longer distribute it. And more specifically, they said that once the product arrives here, it is then inspected, quality assurance is then done on the product, and essentially what the Deputy President is here to do with the acting Minister in the Presidency, Khubuzon Tabilene, and also Puti Manamela, the Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training. They're essentially here to check the product on behalf of government and go back and report to the President that the storage facility of the Johnson & Johnson vaccines is of the highest quality and it meets the prerequisites of the specific product in the conditions that have been set by the manufacturers of this vaccine. If you go in history, Flow, to when the Minister of Health, Dr. Zwelini Mkhize, addressed the nation when it came to the issues of the storage facilities for these vaccines, there was one vaccine that needed a storage temperature of minus 70 degrees Celsius. They are essentially coming out and also checking the storage facilities in the country. The minister had then said that they'd engaged various private sector players who have these storage facilities, and pharmaceutical companies have these storage facilities, that the government at some point would come and seek assistance when it comes to the storage of these particular vaccines, which also comes into play with some of the questions that we are going to pose to the Deputy President. Is the issue of the private sector saying that private pharmaceutical companies must be given access to be able to purchase these vaccines on their own and distribute them as opposed to only relying on government in the distribution of these particular vaccines. There have been various queries that have been raised on the issues of another vaccine which has been procured by government, which is about 20 million doses of that particular vaccine of Pfizer. Those queries are being addressed by the Minister of Health, Dr. Zwelini Mkhize, who himself is also being shrouded by allegations of tender fraud, particularly when it comes to the issues of that company that was linked to one of his staffers from his days as Treasurer General at Luthuli House to his days as Cocta Minister and subsequently to the Department of Health and the issues of the awareness of the coronavirus in the country. So these are the questions that not only the president needs to address, but also the man in charge of the rollout and the procurement of these particular vaccines to the country, which is the second in command, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, David Mabuza.
All right, I'm sure he will be answering some of those questions that we have this afternoon. Let me give you time to catch up then with the Deputy President. We'll certainly be crossing to you later on. All right, okay, yes?
Just to disturb you.
Sure.
Just to disturb you there. Just to disturb you, you can see the Deputy President David Mabuza coming out of the briefing that he has just received from the personnel here at this storage facility. I'm going to try and don't stop him. Pumla Williams is saying no, but the Deputy President is willing. But the DP is willing. So it's fine, therefore we are being pushed away. We are going to leave him. We did say that, Ms. Pumla, we are going to hold you on that. We're going to demand that don't stop. But he is being taken now to the receiving cold room of the various vaccines in the country. Those are the jackets that you have to wear, as room temperature is very cold inside those fridges there. You can see him walking alongside the CEO of this specific facility as they are going to open for him as he will go inside. I won't be able to go inside due to COVID-19 regulations and the number of people being restricted to enter this specific storage area. The Deputy President is receiving a briefing. I'm going to put in our mic.
So this is Yes, and this is Brian, our pharmacist. Yes. They'll be taking us through the tour. They are the heart, the engine of this facility.
Okay. How are you?
Welcome you, Deputy President.
Yes.
Okay, basically myself and Brian will be taking you through the process flow of our storage facility.
Yes.
So at this point, when the truck arrives, we already have all the shipping documents that we can verify the shipment with. Then here outside, the only thing that we do is to check the integrity of the truck to say it meets all our requirements. Then if we are happy with everything, we then receive the shipment.
Okay.
When receiving, we're using a forklift to put it inside the truck where all the process will start.
Okay. I'm sure you'll brief us. Thank you. Yes. All right. Can I get the five cameras, please?
Well, that's it for me here, Flo. You're just going to continue with the visuals of my colleague, Kwazimanzi, who's going into the various storage facilities here now, as I won't be able to go in. But we are going to try and stop the Deputy President once he comes back again. Over to you.
All right, thank you very much. That's Samkele Maseko for us there as the Deputy President enters those facilities there where the vaccines are being kept. That's the BioVac Institute where the Deputy President David Mabuza is this afternoon in Midrand. Of course, this is a public and private partnership between government and BioVac to ensure that the country has enough domestic capacity to produce local vaccines. And of course, we did hear from the private sector that they'd also like the opportunity to be able to distribute and sell vaccines. I believe it is AfriForum leading on that front. So that's what's happening currently there at the BioVac Institute, where the Deputy President is on his walkabout this afternoon. We'll certainly be crossing right back to Samkele Maseko, who will be there for us for the remainder of the afternoon. And I do suppose at some stage the Deputy President will be speaking to us, in which case we'll certainly get to you on that one too. All right, let's take a short break. Do stay with us here on SABC News.